Hello, and welcome to my channel. My name is Jonathan Cohn, and today I have my book review of the book, Star Wars Death Troopers by Joe Schreiber. Yes, this is a Star Wars horror novel. That alone sets this book apart from the other Star Wars books, but it also has another way that it stands out because this is such a short book. This book is only about 270 pages in mass market paperback form, so the hardcover must be like 240, 230 pages. It must be really short. But this is a really short book. I read it in about a couple of hours' time in a single day, and I had fun with it. It is as I mentioned, it's a horror novel featuring basically the Star Wars version of zombies. There's this ship called the Purge, which is an Imperial prison transport, and they call it the Imperial barge, the Purge. And so this ship is on its way to a detention facility with a bunch of prisoners, and basically on its way, it encounters this derelict Star Destroyer, and they decide, why don't we go and salvage some stuff from the Star Destroyer? Well, it turns out there's basically some diseases around on the Star Destroyer, and everyone starts turning into zombies. And so our main cast of characters, which is really small, this is a very small dramatis personae for Star Wars, but our main cast of characters is basically trying to escape the ship and survive against the zombies. And the word zombie is never used, but it's obvious that it's supposed to be zombies in this book. And so, very much that premise I gave you is what you get in the book. Now, there is a big twist in the middle of the book where it is revealed that some classic Star Wars characters are on the barge, and I won't say who. If you've read the book, you know who I'm talking about. There's some classic Star Wars characters on the barge, and it is cool to see those classic Star Wars characters pop up. In one sense, I thought, oh, well, I know they're going to survive, so they're safe. But in another sense, I was thinking, oh, it's cool to see these characters in this different situation than we normally see them. Regarding the horror aspects of the book, in Star Wars, we haven't gotten a ton of horror or scary elements like this. We've actually gotten the majority of it in either Clone Wars or Rebels, when we've gotten some of the Night Sister magic. We've got some of the kind of scary stuff there, but even then, it's not too much into the horror. They've kept it pretty kids-friendly. And then for Mandalorian, they've had a few creepy monster stuff, but nothing real scary. And so, in terms of scariness in Star Wars, this is probably the scariest it's gotten, but that's not necessarily a huge, deal. It's not that scary a book. I was more I'm not a horror fan, and I'm not a big horror reader. I was more grossed out by things in the book rather than being frightened of the things in the book. And maybe that's because I'm an adult, but anyway, I just thought it was more gross than creepy. I think that certainly a teenager would be able to read this and manage it. There's a little bit of gore in the book, but it's nothing over the top. I think that this might be a good stepping stone for someone who wouldn't ordinarily just pick up any Star Wars book and you say, well, this is just a horror novel with some Star Wars window dressing. I think that the person might enjoy it that way. However, horror is not my particular genre of choice, and so because of that, it didn't grab me in the way that some other Star Wars books did. So I can appreciate and value the craft of the book, while also recognizing it's just not the most entertaining book for me for Star Wars. But I did read it primarily because I'm a completionist and I want to get to all of the Star Wars books eventually. I'm working my way through the Legends. I'm caught up on the canon, which is nice for the adult and YA books. But for Legends, got about 25 or 30 Legends books left out of the 150 that there are. So I'm making good headway, and so this is knocking out another entry in that list. I'll give it a 7 out of 10. I felt it was enjoyable, and I thought that the horror was well crafted, and some of the mystery behind it was well crafted. And I'll say that, for the Star Destroyer that shows up where they get the disease, I thought that Joe Schreiber obviously showed that he had knowledge of how Star Destroyers were built, and he really showcase that knowledge by really exploring the Star Destroyer well, and so I did like that in the book. But overall, that is my review of the book. It's a really short review because there's not much to say. It's a very short book. You can read it really quickly. So I enjoyed it, but it wasn't amazing. I'll give it a 7 out of 10. If you've read Death Troopers, let me know your thoughts in the comments section down below. And until next time, I'm Jonathan, and thank you for watching.